He is known across the world as the saint who helps you find your keys. But Saint Anthony of Padua was so much more than a finder of lost things. He was a firebrand preacher, a humble friar, a miracle worker, and most of all, a man completely consumed by the love of God. This is the story of a soul who let himself be lost, so that Christ could be found in him. Saint Anthony was born in Lisbon, Portugal, in the year 1195, under the name Fernando Martins de Bolhus. He was born into a wealthy and noble family, and his early life was marked by comfort, privilege, and education. But even as a young man, Fernando was restless. He longed for something more than the noise of the world, something eternal. At the age of 15, he joined the Canons Regular of St. Augustine, a religious order dedicated to prayer and study. He immersed himself in the scriptures, in theology, in silence. But his heart still burned for something deeper. One day, 5 Franciscan friars passed through his monastery, on their way to preach the gospel in Morocco. Shortly after, news came that they had been martyred for their faith. Fernando was moved, not by their death, but by their courage. He knew this was what he longed for, to give his life completely to God. He left everything behind, his name, his status, even his order, and became Brother Anthony, a simple Franciscan friar. With fire in his soul, Anthony set sail for Morocco, longing for martyrdom. But God had other plans. He became seriously ill and had to return home. On the journey back, his ship was blown off course, all the way to Sicily. There, the hidden scholar and silent friar would finally be revealed. At a gathering of friars in 1222, a priest was unable to preach. Anthony was asked, reluctantly, to speak. What followed was nothing short of a revelation. His words burned with truth. His voice was gentle, but firm. He preached with clarity, conviction, and humility. From that day forward, Anthony was sent out, across Italy and beyond, as a preacher of the gospel. Crowds would come from miles away just to hear him. Fishermen, scholars, nobles, and beggars, all were moved. His sermons could silence riots. He exposed heresies with love and logic, and miracles followed him, healings, conversions, even speaking to fish. But despite the fame, Anthony remained a humble friar. He never sought applause, only souls. One of the most beloved images of Saint Anthony is him holding the child Jesus. According to tradition, Christ appeared to Anthony in the form of a child, resting in his arms. It wasn't a vision just for him. It was a sign of how deeply Anthony's soul was united with the love of God. Exhausted by his labors, Anthony died at the young age of 36, in Padua, Italy, in 1231. So beloved was he, that he was canonized less than a year later. One of the fastest canonizations in church history. Today, he is honored as a doctor of the church, a patron of the poor and the lost, and a guide for all who seek to find Christ in a world full of noise and confusion. And yes, he's still the one you call on when you can't find your wallet. But perhaps that's just a sign that God uses even our lost items to lead us back to the one thing that matters most. Saint Anthony of Padua didn't set out to be great. He simply surrendered, and in that surrender, he became a blazing light in the church, a voice of truth, a vessel of compassion, and a mirror of Christ. May we, too, learn to lose ourselves, so that we might find him. Actions speak louder than words. Let your words teach and your actions speak. Saint Anthony of Padua. If you were moved by this story, like the video, share it with someone searching for hope, and subscribe for more saintly stories that awaken the soul.